We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away. We can deal with this crisis best by building our strength right here at home. It will take hard work. It will take steady and focused determination from governments, from businesses, from labor, from Canadians. We will need to dramatically reduce our reliance on the United States. We will need to pivot our trade relationships elsewhere. And we will need to do things previously thought impossible at speeds we haven't seen in generations. But we can make ourselves more productive and therefore more competitive. We can break down internal trade barriers. We can build a stronger and more resilient economy. And that's what I'm squarely focused on as your Prime Minister.
Marcus Canivorous gave a somber speech today after having an experience that anyone who has ever worked at a call center can empathize with. The poor guy had to have a phone call with an absolute fucking moron. Only in this case, that moron has a nuclear football and is currently very invested in proving that Donald's a big boy who's going to gaslight the markets. Now, I wasn't privy to the phone call, obviously. And no one can truly be sure how much of what Trump says he wants you to believe, despite knowing it's not truth, how much he just is wrong and is too stupid to understand that he's wrong, and how much of it is just him repeating what his masters have told him to say. We would all sleep a lot better if America would get off their collective asses and use some of those rights in that Constitution that you're all so fucking proud of, and stand up against taxation without representation, and tyranny, and protect the Constitution, and all that stuff that you guys say that you believe in, but have not been doing for the last 2 months. But as it stands, Carney is pretty invested in some ideas that make a lot of sense. For material goods, we need to, as much as possible, make as much of our own food and products as possible in Canada, and find non-American suppliers for the things that we can't make in Canada. Though this does beg a number of questions about what happens after the election, because one of the reasons why many Canadians have things like cheaper electricity, cheaper phone service, or cheaper insurance is due to the many crown corporations that exist in Canada. Though over the years, many of these have been sold off, generally by conservatives, to private owners who have bloated their costs while not providing real benefit to Canadian voters. Historically, the Liberals have been pretty keen to try and get private industry to handle essential aspects of the Canadian supply chains. But I think moving forward, while Carney may hope that this whole Team Canada approach holds, I think we'll run into a number of instances where our richest assholes are more than ready to sell out the rest of us with the same kind of attitude that we see from Danielle Sith. I don't expect him to announce anything like this before the election, because even if the general population is quite rah-rah Canada right now, our population has been so brainwashed by American media that while we may brag to Americans about the many socialized systems that make life easier in Canada, we're still inclined to believe that public-owned companies are somehow less good, despite the fact that they're like almost always better. But at the end of the day, Canada needs to be willing to work with private industry that puts country over price gouging. But if we're going to survive this, we'll need to make it clear that the federal government has a stick, and that stick is that we can hire well-paid civil servants to do things better and more efficiently than private industry will if private industry will not play hockey.